Guys? This is Tomas from Positive Gains Training, and I'm so honored to do another episode of Impact Beyond the Weights. And today I am featuring my boy Tommy P, coming from Ohio right now, but is currently usually from Detroit. But today is all about him. He's going to talk about his story, how he lost so much weight, and just where he's at now. So anxious to do this. He's an upcoming coach. Definitely blessed to know him and have him as a friend. Definitely huge encouragement to me. So, no further ado, Tommy, this is all about you, bro. So, first question right off rip, man, is just, well, how you doing today, first of all?
I'm doing good. That was a hell of an introduction, man. It made me feel all special. I'm doing good. I got some good sleep last night. My weeks are usually pretty busy throughout the week, so it felt good to sleep in this morning. So I'm feeling
Nice.
good.
Nice. Getting the pre-game jitters out. He was just doing some push-ups. I should have recorded that because he was over there pushing, pulling his dog, doing all these things. Because listen, you guys don't know how it feels until you're behind the camera, talking to a camera.
For
So the
sure.
pre-game jitters are real. So, but Tommy, talk to us, man. How did you get started into this health and fitness? Like, what year? What motivated you? Give us the full backstory, man.
All right. Well, I guess I would like to start about how I grew up.
Okay.
Um I've battled obesity, not just being the chubby kid, but like obese. I was the fat kid, the biggest kid in the school, probably since second grade, I would
Okay.
say. Um, it was just something never coming up, living in the house that I grew up in. Fitness and nutrition just weren't like a necessity. Just making it by was that, I mean, I didn't know how important any of that stuff was at all. I started learning a little bit about it in high school, like when puberty hit and started getting interested in like girls and stuff like that. And I realized like, whoa, like something's got to change. But to give an example of how bad off I realized that I was, I'm 28 years old now, and I'm actually I'm close to 15 pounds up from where I went. I started at my heaviest was 275 pounds,
Nice.
and I got all the way down to 184 pounds. And the last time that I weighed 180 pounds was fifth grade.
Wow. So it's been a long
So
time, bro.
yeah, so I was really it was really bad for a long time. So I got him to my 20s. That's where I became my heaviest at around 275 pounds, and became a truck driver as soon as I was able to. And that didn't help. That really stacked it on. That stacked on the fat, especially with no education on nutrition.
Right.
So I'm eating nothing but gas station food, smoking cigarettes. I mean, drinking all the time. It was really bad. And hmm,
And I mean, just having that sedentary job just doesn't help. Just constantly driving
oh
without
yeah,
moving at all. Like, bro,
at
how
all.
was your energy when you was doing that? Honestly.
It was bad. It was honestly terrible. I was always tired. I started developing asthma as an adult,
Wow.
like just from getting so big
Yeah.
and
Did you have
not
like sleep
using.
apnea too?
Thank God I never had that. No,
Okay.
but like getting not using my lungs so much that I'm developing asthma that I'm needing help to like elevate my breathing and or however they tried to explain it to me. Here's an example of how bad off I felt like energy wise. I actually got into a terrible car. It was a truck crash. When I was doing my over the road. I used to have a fixed route to Janesville, Wisconsin,
Okay.
and I was about 45 minutes from my destination. It was 2 in the morning, and I fell asleep behind the wheel
Wow.
and totaled the truck, crumpled it. It turned. It was a straight truck, so the chassis broke and it bent up, almost came through the cab. And I remember the sheriff asking me when I jumped out of the truck. I remember spinning, and I remember spinning so long. It must have been like 5 seconds, but in my mind, it felt like an hour. I had time to think about my family. I had time to think about my life, and
Mm.
in that moment, I accepted death. I
Okay.
accepted that's what's gonna happen when I stop spinning, and it didn't. I I didn't get nothing but scratches and a couple pieces of glass in my head. No broken bones. I hop out. When the sheriff gets there, he said, he said, "Hey boy, you believe in God?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." He said, "Cause he was sitting in that passenger seat with you. You
Wow.
shouldn't have walked out of there." And that stuck with me, man. It stuck with me,
Hmm.
and how I ended up coming to getting all the way down to fitness is this that happened. I was about 23. I didn't
Hmm.
start my fitness journey until, like, seriously taking it serious, till 2020. Before that, I did, like, I noticed that I need to try a diet, or I need to follow one of these, like, keto thingies. I had no education,
Right.
but
So it's kind of like
2000.
a yo. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But it's kind of like you was yo-yoing, like you was kind of like starting and stopping type of deal.
Yes, yes. So it started with dieting. I yo-yoed a diet. I thought, if I'm not eating, what this bodybuilder for 10 years has been eating, then I'm not doing right. So there's no point until I'm ready to stay consistent,
Mm.
until I'm in the perfect environment, until I'm in the perfect mood. Don't try. Don't do it. Be honest with yourself. And it just kept yo-yoing. That's a perfect way to put it. I
Oh,
never heard of
I
it that
like that.
way.
I like that a lot because I feel like that plays a lot into just life in general. I mean, me being a Christian, I mean, that's the same thing. People won't go to church until they feel like they got their life back together, right? Like they're perfect, like they got like you said, the right environment. And it's just crazy to think that you applied that same exact concept to fitness. Like, bro, if I'm not all in, then I'm not doing anything at all type of deal, right? It's the all or
Right.
nothing mindset. Like, if I'm not 100%, then I'm not doing anything. And then no change ever takes place.
Exactly. Exactly. I try to mention that in any video that um, I post.
Hmm.
Is I always try to end the video with, like, this is something that we can start right now,
Right.
because the best saying I've ever heard is, your mindset is either one day or it's day one.
Mm, that is good.
Another example is, it was actually, I heard it from a sobriety video, and it this guy, he walked out of his house. He lived in a country house, so if you could imagine, country houses have them long driveways to the house, and at the end of the driveway is the mailbox.
Yeah.
He said he took a video, and he was walking out of his house. He said, "My destination is to get to that mailbox." And he said, "So I'm taking a few steps, just like," he said, sobriety, but for me, it was for fitness, or for your instance that you used Christianity. You take a few steps towards what you're trying to get to. And
Hmm.
he said, "Oh, and I fell into a gopher hole." He said, "I guess that means I need to walk back and start from the house." He said, "Wait a minute, that don't make no sense. Why wouldn't I just keep going?"
Right.
He said, "Just like when you have a bad day or you mess up, you don't restart. You start from where you're at. Meet
Mm.
yourself where you're at." And I
Man,
was like,
that's
wow,
good.
makes a lot of sense.
That's really good, bro. And I love analogies too because I'm a very sight person. Like if I see it, like I said today's class, like I'll explain to everybody how to do the exercise. Like, listen, I know you probably most of you are probably like me, like you're hands on. You don't get it until you actually do it yourself, and that's exactly how I am. Like I'm hands on. You can tell me a million and one times how to do something, but until I actually do it myself, it's like completely different. But I like that. That's a very good one. Very visual effects.
Yeah, it worked out for me. And so it really, a lot of things stick with me now. I wish they would have stuck with me, a little bit younger, but it doesn't matter. All that matters is that I'm doing it now.
Hmm.
Um, so through all that, my health is deteriorating. I'm a trucker. I see no way out of it. I'm getting bigger. I'm losing muscle mass, like, which I didn't even know was happening. I didn't know that was a humongous thing. Just not. It was terrible. I come into the hardest time of my life. Then that's how I ended up moving down to Ohio in
Okay.
2020. It was February of 2020. I moved down to Ohio.
Just before COVID, bro.
Right, like a month
Just
before
before.
COVID.
That's
A
crazy.
month before. I get down here and then we're locked in the house.
Dang.
And
Didn't know.
that's where it started.
Okay, so it's kind of like a blessing in disguise because you was bored and had nothing to do. So,
That's where it started. And I had a lot of time to self-reflect sitting in that damn house. And no distractions. I had no friends. I know nobody down here, no family except my mom. Like I was so embarrassed. I moved back with my mom. I'm in my coming into my late 20s,
right.
moving back in with my mom. So I'm self-reflecting and just looking in the mirror, and I was like, man, you got to change. You got to change the way you eat. You need to change the way you talk. You need to change the way you look. You need to change the way you think. You need to change the way you parent. Like you're in bad shape, man.
Mm,
And I said, what on that list sticks out to me the most? And it was the way that I look and the way that I eat.
hmm.
So I attacked it, and it started with push-ups in the house. It
Okay.
started with just seeing how many I can do.
Bro, how many could you do? Be real with me.
I until failure, I was hitting 11 push-ups.
Okay. Listen, bro, when I first started working out, I was barely hitting a couple. So, hey,
I was hitting 11, and that was like,
arms all shaking.
yeah, yeah, 11 push-ups, no chin-ups or pull-ups. I couldn't even barely hang,
Okay.
and I could hit maybe 5 to 10 sit-ups.
Okay.
And I yo-yoed with that for a little while, but that was the first consistency that I introduced into my life, was at least doing push-ups every day,
Okay.
whether it was 10 and then 3 hours later hitting another 10 and then 3 hours later hitting another 10, or just hitting 10 for the whole day. I made that promise to myself, and I started getting motivation, to be honest, because after a few months of COVID and being locked in the house, moving down to Ohio, I don't got a job, I don't got a car, nothing. I end up meeting this gorgeous, gorgeous woman, and
Hey,
now my
let's
fiance.
go. Let's
So
go.
I started getting the push-ups in there a little bit more. I'm like,
Okay.
before I used to. She lived right down the street from my mom's house, right?
Nice.
So before I would go hang out with her, or I see her leaving and I would try to run into her, I would hurry up and hit a bunch of push-ups.
You hit those push-ups and you go down there and flex your calves. Like, you see these calves, baby?
Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing.
Hey, let's be real. I grew up as a chubby kid, so my biggest muscle is my calves. Like, you see these calves, baby?
Yep,
Flexing
yep,
them boys. You get to see
yep.
little
Always
spine
stayed
in
in
them.
shorts, walking on my tippy toes around her.
Yeah, there you go. Flex those boys.
Where it took off for me, was after the talking stage of me and her, and then I decided this is somebody that I really would like to spend the rest of my life with, or at least have an awesome relationship with. Um, we spent our first Christmas together, and on Christmas Day, 2020, 9 o'clock in the morning, I was a cigarette smoker. I woke up just like every other cigarette smoker I've ever met in my life. You go take a piss, and you go get a
Okay.
cigarette. And that's what I did. I stepped onto the porch and I lit my cigarette and I said, today is the day I quit smoking cigarettes. As a matter of fact, this cigarette right here is going to be my last cigarette of my life.
Wow.
And it was.
Wait, of your life.
Of my life.
Period. All right, so keep it real. 3 years later, have you smoked a cigarette since?
Not one.
Oh, let's go.
Not one.
Let's go. Man, we can get into a different rabbit hole with this because I feel like what you're talking about right now is so important. It's all about the mindset.
It is.
Seriously, it's like once you make that commitment to something, like it could be something just small as that, or even your push-ups. That was your first commitment, was just hitting those push-ups, bro. It's like you focus on just that one consistency, everything else will just kind of snowball.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Snowball. Snowball.
It'll just
Good.
snowball. Start out like this small little thing, but then it keeps rolling and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
That's exactly what happened. I've never heard of the snowball. That's a great way to think of it. I've always heard a wall made of bricks. You start brick by brick.
Yeah.
The
Okay, I
snowball, I
can
like
see that
that.
too because you're building something. But I feel like snowball is like a perfect example because I
That's
mean, the more
perfect. Yeah,
momentum it gets, the bigger it gets.
that is. I've never heard it put way better. That's perfect. It literally does start with one small thing, and it not only does it get bigger, it gains more momentum too.
Exactly.
So
It gets
now,
heavier.
like
Exactly.
snowball, I like that.
Exactly. It's hard to push that boy back up the hill once he's this
Yeah, there ain't no
swing.
going back.
It's hard to go back, baby. I
Yep.
like that. That's a good one. So,
Wow,
but yeah,
man.
all right. So that was the last cigarette. Well, did you say it was Christmas morning?
It
Or
was
you just said
Christmas morning.
it was Christmas morning? That was it. All right. What happened after that?
I had just bought a full pack of cigarettes the night before,
Okay, which is like
and
7, 8 bucks, somewhere around there. I don't know. I know I smoke.
yeah, oh yeah, that's something else cool I would like to talk about is how much it cost and how much I saved. I actually was able to pay for a tattoo for 3 months of not smoking. I would smoke almost a pack a day.
Okay.
So that's $8 a day. So I saved $8 a day, put it in a savings account, and I went and got a tattoo, and it was something special for me. And
Okay. I
it
can see it.
represents the clan that I'm a
Okay.
part of, Bear Clan, or in our
Okay.
language, it is Makwa Dodem, Bear Clan.
Okay.
So Christmas morning, 9 a.m., I tell myself this is my last cigarette. I always see myself as not an addict to anything. I was like, oh, cigarettes, whatever. But the next few days were probably the some of the hardest days I've ever went through in my life. I really felt like an addict, like withdrawals and stuff. I was emotional, crying, like it was weird. It was super
Dang.
weird, sweating. I felt sick, and I didn't pick another one up, man. No matter how bad I wanted.
That's
And
cool.
a good point I want to bring about that is to this day, like you don't that want never goes away.
Mm-hmm.
It's a battle that you have to battle every single time you face it. You have to figure out your strategy to win. You've got
Mm-hmm.
to build armor.
Mm.
If the weapon form against you is stronger than your armor, you're gonna lose every time.
Dang.
Even what do they say? Best you're a strong defense is the best offense. That's with everything. And I'm sure you could probably relate that to Christianity. Any
Yeah.
weapon formed against you, what's more powerful than Christ as armor?
Right.
Nothing. So that's why it's so easy when you're in that mindset of being protected, nothing can get you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I figured out of winning the same war, the battle. I'm fighting the same. It's like Rocky and Apollo Creed
Let's
every
go.
single day. You know what I mean? And you just
Yeah.
figured out, well, Apollo Creed can't take that left hook. Southpaw got him, and that's my move.
Let's
Anytime,
go.
anytime I want a cigarette, I think to myself like, um, I mean, I don't. Okay, I can say that I don't want them as much as I used to, but there's still days I smell them out. I smell them outside. I'm walking into a restaurant, somebody's outside smoking, or my mom, she still smokes cigarettes, so I go to her house and it takes me back. I smoked cigarettes since 12 years old.
Right.
So I realize my southpaw is you've lost 90 pounds because you decided to take your fitness so serious that you knew cigarettes were going to hold you back.
Mm-hmm.
You decided to be a tremendous father, and you decided to stop smoking cigarettes to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
So right there, that's my 1, 2, bam, bam. You're a fitness coach now, and you are the best dad in the world. Bam, bam, and it goes away.
Let's
You
go.
know what I mean?
That's so awesome, bro. That's so awesome. All right, so it started with push-ups, took it into not smoking, and then like how did you start to get into like the nutrition part of it, which we all know that that's the biggest and still the most complicated thing for most people.
All right. Well, um, before I jump into my nutrition hole, I want to start it off by saying Tomas Ramirez
No, bro.
and
No, bro.
Facebook posts. Facebook
Facebook
post.
post?
Your
Okay.
Facebook post. Okay, listen. Before I got there, though, before I finally reached out to you, like long time no talk. How you doing, Tomas?
Right.
Before I got there, I jumped the gun, and like I said, I have no idea what I'm doing. I had no idea. I just know what I wanted.
Right.
So I just jumped into it and tried so many different things. I did. Um, the first thing that I did was YouTube bodybuilding diet.
You know, hey man. Seriously.
You know what popped up was
What?
bodybuild prep diet, and as you know, like that is top tier.
Oh, super
Like,
restrictive. Chicken, rice, broccoli.
bro, the sodium intake, your water intake, like, and
Yeah.
I had no idea. That's what I thought it took, like,
Yeah.
to start seeing results. And so I'm I beat I beat cigarettes, right? I'm like 2 months into not smoking cigarettes. So that craving, like the super hard craving went away. So now I'm feeling all macho and I finally beat something and
Don't mind cut you off. Are you still doing your push-ups at this point?
um not every day, no. But that's because
That's because you're with the girl now, right?
yeah.
I done got her. I gotta lay off these push-ups.
Honestly, it's because now I'm doing 2 chest days a week.
Okay.
So when I go do push-ups, that's a loaded question because I can't say some weeks I do. It just all depends on how I'm feeling. Some weeks I do hit push-ups in the morning and
Right.
I'll just bust them out and try to hit 50, 60 of them. And just because. But now that I've been doing 2 chest days a week, like there's not a day where my chest isn't sore as heck, dude. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah,
as soon as I'm finally done being sore, there's that second chest day. So,
it is.
but but some weeks I could tell when I didn't hit it as hard. Like last night before I went to bed,
Yeah.
I hit 2 sets of 50 real quick on my way up. I had a big bowl of popcorn, low calorie popcorn, of course, and cauliflower crackers, and they're delicious.
Cauliflower crackers?
Yeah, bro. Look, I'm not.
He's about to go grab them.
Look, bro, and it's not like I only did this because they're low in fat and high in carbohydrates.
Okay.
And like I know you know this, but people watching this don't know this. I'm on I'm on a bulk,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to stay high carbs, and it's hard for me. I'm more of a natural fat eater. So I wasn't looking for low calorie. I was looking for high carb, low fat.
Yeah.
And that's why I went with these. And these are freaking delicious, dude. They're
Okay.
really good.
Shoot. Can't be mad at that, bro.
So I had a big old bowl of that. I had popcorn and this mixed, right? I'm walking up, I'm getting ready to walk upstairs, and me and my fiance, which is the very attractive girl. She is now my fiance, champion. But we're walking upstairs. We're gonna go watch a movie, and it was actually Rocky. We was watching Rocky last night.
Wait, hold up. Your girl likes Rocky?
Yes, she does.
Bro, that's a keeper right there, bro.
Her grandpa, growing up, she was raised by her grandmother and her grandfather, and he was into lifting weights. And
Okay.
so, not any, but most athletes, Rocky is like the go-to movie for motivation.
Works, bro.
So I'm on my way upstairs, knowing that I'm about to watch Rocky with a big old bowl of popcorn. I was like, hold on a second. I hand her the bowl and I jump down and I just do 2 sets. I just do 2 sets real quick.
I love it, bro. I love it. That's
It
so
was
awesome, though. So awesome. But I didn't mean to detour you from your original nutrition and
oh yeah.
YouTube,
Yeah, sorry,
looking
man.
up the bodybuilding stuff and all that stuff. So
Yes.
what happened after that?
I'm on YouTube. I'm looking up bodybuilder diets, and I don't know what prep and bulk and all this means. I have macro. I'm like, what the heck's that mean? You know what I mean? I have no idea. So I find this diet. I don't remember who it's from, but it was a very specific diet. It was like, um, it was, uh, man, how many grams of eggs? I don't. At this point, I didn't have a food scale, which I live by now. So this guy gave a certain amount of eggs to eat in the morning.
Yeah.
I just did it with cup. I did a cup of eggs. I did a cup of eggs with one of those instant oatmeal packets
Okay.
in the morning. That was it. Which, like, if you know anybody that is into nutrition and kind of knows their stuff, that's like super low calorie.
Hmm.
One pouch of oatmeal and a cup of eggs, that's maybe like two or three eggs. That's like super low. And then I would eat one serving of salmon, which is like this big,
Okay.
with like four spares of asparagus or whatever they're called.
Hmm.
And then I wouldn't eat until nighttime, and it would be one chicken breast and a cup full of broccoli and a spoonful of peanut butter before I went to bed.
Hmm.
That was like 1,000 calories at
Yeah.
most.
Yeah. Was you starving?
Bro, it was so bad. It was so bad. I was like I almost went back to I can't do this. I
Yeah.
can't do this. And I'm like, there's gotta be something else. There's gotta be something else. So I did that for like 2 weeks. I kept failing. I didn't stop going to the gym. At this time, I finally got a gym membership.
Okay.
And I'm still doing my push-ups and sit-ups every day, even if it was just a 10 and 10. Still couldn't do no pull-ups. Couldn't do none.
Yeah.
I got a gym membership. I'm eating this stuff, and I was like, there's got to be something else. So I kept failing on the nutrition part from what I thought I had to do. Wasn't counting calories or nothing like that. Didn't know how much protein I was eating. Had no idea. I'm just seeing this guy's YouTube. It seemed like the simplest thing to follow, so I did it. I stay consistent with the gym, stay consistent with my push-ups, but I'm failing on that. And now I'm back to eating chips. I'm back to eating whatever she's making for dinner, and she's a Southern belle, so there's some fried foods up in there. She was raised on a farm by her grandfather and grandma in Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? So there's some fried, um, and my weight stayed the same, and
Okay.
it became very discouraging.
Yeah.
And but
Okay,
I didn't
pause for a
stop.
second. Don't
Go
want to
ahead.
cut you off. Don't lose your train of thought.
Okay.
Your weight stayed the same, but did you notice any difference in your physique?
Um.
Curious.
Yes, the first thing that I noticed was my shoulders and triceps.
Okay, at this point, you're talking about like even though you didn't lose no weight, you've been in the gym
At
consistently
this
a while.
point, it was something that I wasn't satisfied with, but I can see a difference.
Okay.
Okay, I'm after I stayed consistent with these push-ups, it's been about like 5 months, and maybe a month worth of gym time,
Mhm.
and I start seeing up here is where I started seeing the changes a little bit first.
Okay.
But I'm still like at this point I'm 240 pounds, 245 pounds.
Okay, and you started at 270? Was it
I
somewhere
started
around?
at 275 pounds was my heaviest.
Okay.
Okay, that was the heaviest I'll ever have been.
Okay.
Um, when I moved to Ohio, I went through a little depressive state and I lost weight, not the healthy way. I
Okay.
wasn't trying to.
Right.
Um, so when I decided to stay consistent with push-ups and then quit smoking cigarettes and then starting learning nutrition. I moved here 2020, February 2020. At that time I was 275 pounds.
Mhm.
I started doing push-ups, quit cigarettes Christmas Eve. So from February to Christmas,
So 10 months.
10 months, I stepped on the scale and I was about 245 pounds,
Okay.
250 pounds. Okay.
Okay.
But it wasn't through nutrition, and I know those push-ups were not enough for me to lose. It was literally being depressive in a depressive state. It was the hardest time of my life, and not eating enough. That's
Mhm.
literally I looked it just wasn't healthy. I could feel it.
Right.
But so I jumped on it and I might have even seen 250. I think it might have been 250 or 247 on the nose, something like that. I rounded it to 245 because it made me feel better. So I tried to use the things that helped me stay there. So I did notice a little difference in my shoulders, and I know that was from the push-ups. I didn't notice any weight difference when I started tracking my weight at 245.
Okay.
Okay, 45. I didn't see this is, and now after we're coming into 2021, right? We're coming into
Mhm.
2021. I've been consistent in the gym for a little over a month. Tried that diet, but I kept failing, and my push-up game is still up. So I didn't notice any difference in the weight, but I did notice up here, and I
Okay.
noticed the strength. My push-ups are going up. I'm able to hit like 25. You know what I mean? I'm able to hit 25, but I started focusing on benching and gym stuff now. And that's where I started kind of veering off from my push-ups a little bit and started
Okay.
taking the gym more serious. So I couldn't stick to that diet I found. But I came across something called meal prep.
Okay.
Okay, I came something
Okay.
across meal prep, and still have no idea. I'm not counting calories.
Right.
I'm not. I just know you put food in a container, and it makes it easier that you don't have to cook 3 times a day.
Right.
I'm like, what do I like to eat that I think is healthy, right? And healthy is a loaded word depending on what your goal is.
Right.
So I stayed with the fish. I love fish. Um, it helped me stay more consistent. I stopped following that guy's diet and I just started following what I wanted and what I
Okay.
thought was healthy. I kept eating fish. I kept eating eggs and I cut the oatmeal out because um, at this time I came across reading articles about like carbohydrates are bad and that's a whole different ball game.
Keto and all this other
Yeah,
stuff.
that's a whole different rabbit hole.
Right.
And so I kept it eggs in the morning, just eggs, a lot of them. Kept it eggs in the morning.
You're doing 2 or 3 cups now.
Yeah, it was. I think it was exactly 2 cups,
2 cups.
two
Okay.
cups of eggs, and I would chop up different vegetables to make omelet with it. So I'd eat that in the morning. Take my vitamins in the morning. I would have my asparagus that because I really like that, even though I stopped following his diet. I really like
Right.
the salmon and asparagus, which is still a staple of my diet today.
Okay.
It's just really good. And now that I know the macros and all that stuff now, I know how much to eat of it, and it's a lot more than
Okay.
that.
Let's
You
go.
know? And then chicken, I would eat. I would still keep eating chicken, or it would be a steak and a vegetable and a potato and whatever she made for dinner. That's when I started noticing difference. I'm not counting calories, I'm not
Yes.
protein or nothing, but the consistency of meal prepping, having that in the refrigerator whenever I'm hungry or when I know I'm heading out to work or I'm heading out to do something.
Right.
Like two of my daughters are cheerleaders. So any cheer dads out there, you know how busy life gets.
I'm about to
Oh,
learn starting next week, bro.
yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you better buckle up, Tomas.
I'm about to start meal prepping. I'm hitting my boy Tommy P up for his services.
Hell yeah.
So meal prep is super important. I know I gave you a little shout out because you are starting to bring up your own little business now with the meal prep. You also, from what we talked about, want to start teaching classes either in person or online or a mixture of both possibly. Eventually, as you start to get, your feet more wet with your training that you're doing personally. So I definitely agree. Meal prepping is super important. And just want to keep piggybacking off of that.
Yeah, yeah, it became such an important thing to me, and it's because of the consistency.
Yeah.
And that anything that we could talk about throughout this interview, any tip that I could give anybody is aim for consistency.
Mm,
And now consistency is not a straight line.
right.
Not.
That's a good point.
Consistency is that example of your house to your mailbox.
Mm,
You're gonna fall down, but consistency is keep going.
mm,
That is consistency. You don't fall down, right? You make it a couple steps and you fall down and you restart. That's not consistent. That's just failure. That's just failure.
right.
And failure is going to happen. But what you do with that failure, consistency, is how you get there. That's how
Right.
you get there. So you're gonna fall. You're gonna hit some gopher holes. You're gonna fall. You're
Oh,
going to fall.
Bro, I got a question for you.
Yes.
When's the new Rocky with Tommy P coming out, bro? Because I feel like I feel like I'm getting all type of quotes over here, baby.
It's not how hard you can. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward, Adrian.
I
It's true. It's
like how you even got the
true.
little side mouth going too.
Adrian.
Oh
It's
man,
so
hey,
true though, man. I know it seems so cliche, just
it's
like that
true.
Nike, just do it. Like it seems so cliche until you're actually in the water.
Right, seriously, bro. That's
And
why I don't ever judge a book by its cover. Like when people like criticize people like on TV, like, dang, they should have did this or did that. I was like, bro, have you ever even been in that situation before? Like even doing this
exactly.
podcast. Have you ever been in a podcast interview? Like you don't know how nervous or the experience it is with anything until you keep
Yeah.
doing it. You're like, oh, I gain more respect for that person now because I know firsthand what they're talking about.
Yeah, this is my first one. I was so like you said, I had to do some push-ups and my dog walked by, she became a victim.
Uh, it's all right, but my dog's over here running back and forth, trying, shaking, and trying to get me to pet him and all that stuff. So it's all good, bro. All
It's
right,
that
so my bad. What was you saying?
Oh, I was just gonna go back into, about how you said how important meal prep is, and it is, but it's not the meal prep itself.
Just the
It's the
consistency.
consistency
Yeah,
that it offers you.
yeah.
It offers you. And so at this time, I'm not I'm not counting calories. I'm not like I'm not still not worried about protein.
Mhm.
I just don't want to be fat anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to be fat anymore. I know I got it in me, that dog, because that cigarettes, man, I'm telling you, that's what gave me. It was that. That's what started the snowball right
Mhm.
there. Not even the push-ups. The push-ups I was able to do while I was smoking cigarettes. The things that I do now, if I were to smoke cigarettes, I wouldn't make it halfway through our routine.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be. There's no way. There's no way I couldn't do it.
Mm.
So it just gave me that. So that's what gave me the bravery to try anything.
Right.
How bad do I want that result? I'm gonna figure out the road there. This might be the wrong one, like a maze or
Mhm.
one of those like puzzles that you do on, I forgot what they're called, maze puzzles or something.
Right.
This is the wrong path. Yeah, but this is the wrong path too. This one looks better. Oh, nope, that's wrong. Then you finally find it. And that's what happened. And it was through meal prep. It was through meal prep. Like you
Nice.
said when we first started, nutrition is like, some people say 80%. I want to say 90. I honestly want to say 90% of your results are going to come from what you're eating. 90, at least for me, 90%.
Yeah.
90%. So I started noticing more changes. Still not counting calories, still not doing none of that.
Have you lost any
Um,
weight at this point? Can you recall?
no, still have not
Still
lost weight.
245 ish.
I'm still around
And you're
245-ish.
still consistent with your meals. Have you been having you're consistent with your meals through the week because most people that's the easy part. But when the
Good point.
weekend comes, it's like, did you still have that consistency or was you kind of just like binging?
Oh, that good point. I was destroying everything on the weekends. I was a weekend warrior.
I think what happens is during the week we're so busy that we either forget to eat, we just don't have time to eat, or we're not eating as much. And then during the weekend, it's like you're not that busy anymore because you're not working and stuff like that. Sure, you have things to do, but you're not as busy, so you're just constantly just bored snacking, or because you didn't eat so much throughout the week, now you're just pushing all that stuff to the weekend and just like you say, you're just sabotaging, just eating everything.
Good, yes, very good point. Self-sabotaging, and I think that's why I wasn't I was seeing results, but what I mean when I say seeing results, it wasn't really physical. It was more strength. It was
Okay.
more it was more of like feeling right. Like when I first started going to the gym, I got a right shoulder injury,
Hmm.
and it's because of, I don't think you could see it through my shirt, but I broke my collarbone when I was a little
I
bit
can see it a
younger.
little bit. I can just see like just your stature. Like I could see like the difference.
Yeah, and I didn't take it serious, and it messed me up. So when I finally started going to the gym, I jumped right into dumbbell presses
Mhm.
and overextended on the way down. Crack! It
Mm.
messed me up, dude. It messed me up. So I started seeing results about my form and feeling the muscle, the mind to muscle connection, but
Yeah.
I'm still not seeing like what I'm looking for. I'm looking the to not be fat. That's my goal. I was still fat. Okay, my strength is going up. That's cool. But I did at that point I didn't care. At that point I didn't care. I just didn't want to be the fat guy anymore.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm meal prepping, I'm eating healthy, like what is going on? Like what is going on? And I went a whole year. I went a whole year like that. So all of 2021 is I might have fluctuated maybe 5 pounds. And
Mhm.
that was whenever I stepped onto the scale,
Yeah.
like just I so happened to come across the scales, jump on it. I was 5 pounds lighter, I was 5 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
But I was staying right there.
Can I cut you off for a second?
Yep, go ahead.
So one thing that I like that you said was that, well, not necessarily like, but one kind of piggyback off of is because I've been in this business for 8 years now, going on nine. And it's like you might not have been seeing the results on a scale, but you was getting the results with your lifestyle. And as we all know, I'm sure
Yes.
people hear this, fitness is a lifestyle. This is a journey. It's like you're not getting the results as in like the physique look that you want, but you're starting to form a better lifestyle out of how many years of being inactive and not working out. So you're trying to break, we'll say 11, 10 years of bad habits within 3 months. You want to look this whole
Yeah.
specific type of way. It's like you may not have been seeing the results like I said, physically, but look at you now. Like if you would have stopped at that point within 2021 and not continue to keep pursuing, even though you wasn't looking or losing, who knows where you would have been right now.
Facts. Give me some love for that one.
Got you, bro. So
That's
I
facts.
mean, I think people are just too focused on the physique results when they say results, and they're not thinking about the whole spectrum. It's like you're a better person now than you was last year just from simply working out. Like you wouldn't be doing half of this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like
Lifestyle.
that's not a result that most people talk about. It's not sexy to people. It doesn't sell. You're not about to go on YouTube like, listen, I've been working out for a whole year and I haven't lost a single pound. People be like, I don't want to work out. You know what I mean? That's just too much work, not enough reward. But they just look at the here and now and not 5 years from now. You know what I mean?
Super facts, bro. It's that lifestyle and building habits.
Yeah, that's the huge part.
Building habits. I was on the right train. I was on the wrong track. But you're right. If I would have stopped and just jumped off the gain train just because I wasn't happy with how I was looking,
Mhm.
I would not have figured out what I'm trying to do. I would have got off that road. And like a buddy of mine called me yesterday. What up, John? You're on a podcast, dude.
Hey, that's the next young bodybuilder coming up.
Yeah. So, I had a buddy yesterday hit me up and wanted to get into the gym. And
Mhm.
out of every, I hear it every day. Anybody that asks me for tips or what to do, the first question they ask is, "How long until I start seeing results?"
Yeah,
Every time I hear it every time.
man, that's
And
a
what
great
I
question. What's
say,
your answer? I'm just curious.
detach yourself from your results.
Mhm.
You, if you start this journey, and I know it sounds scary, but at least it's true, you are never going to be fully satisfied. You're
Never.
going to keep wanting more.
This is a vicious cycle.
So don't worry about how long it's going to take to get to where you want to look. Worry about what you want to do. Worry about changing who you are, not what you do. Change who you are. Just like you said, it's a lifestyle.
Mhm.
So even though I'm not seeing those results, it's 2021. It's at the end of it. I'm at the end of 2021, like right before Thanksgiving. I start learning about calorie intake and calorie expenditure and protein. I still wasn't, that whole year of lifting, I wasn't focused on protein or nothing.
Yeah.
But I stayed consistent. I stayed in that lifestyle, and I built the habit of identifying myself as somebody who goes to the gym
Hmm.
and somebody who is trying to better themselves. Even if I haven't figured it out yet, that's who I am. That's
Bro,
who I am now.
that's deep.
And it was when I found out about calories in, calories out,
Yes.
changed my life. I learned it the same thing at the same time as macronutrition,
Okay.
and it changed everything for me.
Okay.
And at the end of 2021 at 245 pounds, 245 pounds all the way until let's see, the end of 2022, or maybe even the start of 2023. The start of 2023, it was.
Okay.
I got down to 184 pounds,
Nice, bro.
and
Nice.
it was through that. But all that wouldn't have mattered. Like you said, the macronutrition and the calories, knowing how to, it wouldn't have mattered if I didn't build that lifestyle. If I didn't build those habits,
Right.
it wouldn't matter. It would have just sat
Exactly.
up here.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
It's like having all the knowledge, but not having the lifestyle to apply it. You can know all these things, but until you start to apply those things, that's when you start to see the difference.
exactly.
So, but yeah, I like that because I feel like I'm a firm advocate of like when people first get started, it's like, all right, I need you to choose one. Are you going to focus on just dedicating, just to training to form that habit, or are you going to focus on just nutrition and form that habit? Because I learned that when people try to do too many things at one time, it just gets overwhelming and it just falls apart, and then they just stop and never come back to it, or they just, like you said in the beginning, they yo-yo. So it's like
Yep.
they try to do all this one change at one time. It's not working out because it's just too much at one time. And then they stop. And then a couple months later or a couple years later, they come back and do it all again. And then they stop. It's like if you would have just stick with one thing six months, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, and like you did, just work on not smoking. I'm gonna hit the gym. I don't care about how much protein, how much this. I'm just gonna focus on this one thing. And then next year I'll educate myself more. It's like you
Yep.
got that habit, and
It
I feel
was
like
that
that's
brick
that's
lane.
overlooked.
Yep. Very overlooked. It was the
So,
brick lane. The first brick was quitting cigarettes.
right,
Well, okay, the first brick was push-ups, but the real when I the first brick was quitting cigarettes.
right, because that
Then
was the hardest one.
that was the
That was the
hardest
most
one.
difficult, most sacrificial one.
Yes, that was
Yeah,
one of the hardest things I've ever went through in my life.
yeah,
So that was the first brick, and then the second brick was uh, going to the gym, and then the third brick was I know I got to figure out a diet, even if it was the wrong one. I formed that habit of knowing I need to eat better. I know
right,
it has to do with food, even if it wasn't the right diet for me.
right.
That brick was still there. Diet,
Right.
diet, diet. And
Man,
then the next brick, calorie intake. Then the
yeah,
next brick, macros. Then the next brick, figuring out, really going into depth with muscle to mind connection.
right.
And then next brick, Tomas Ramirez. Hey, you know what I mean? Like, hey, dude, I'm at this point in my life. I don't know anybody else better than you. I'm a huge fan of you. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to fanboy out right now, but like
Listen, bro, I
to be on
appreciate it.
a podcast with Positive Gains, Tomas Ramirez
Listen,
is
bro.
absolutely mind blowing to me because
That's
of
because
who
I
he
got belief in you, bro.
yeah,
I wouldn't just bring you on here if I didn't think that you were the real deal, and I feel like you are. And again, I want to bring you on when you move back up here, God willing.
I want to jump into now that I started when I said it changed my life, the macronutrition and the calories, I jumped right down to losing 184 pounds. I want to go back a little bit and talk about what happened after I learned about calories and
Okay.
macronutrition. It's the end of 2021. I learned about calorie intake and calories out. I learned about macronutrition and how important protein is. And so now through my meal prep, instead of just putting a piece of fish and some vegetables in there and a potato or something. I went and got a food scale. I went
Okay.
and got a food scale, and I started looking up everything I ate. So that didn't have it on the bag. Okay, that's a huge tip that I give to people too that are trying to learn the that are trying to take their calorie intake and their calories more serious. Is if you can't read it, don't eat it.
Hmm.
Like, it's that simple. If you want it bad enough, you'll make it happen. You will sacrifice a few weekends out to eat, but
Yeah.
like, it comes down to how bad do you want it.
Right.
You could still go out to eat, but that doesn't mean you have to eat. And I know it seems weird, but not if you're that determined. It don't seem weird to you at all.
Yeah.
It don't seem that weird. But the things that you can't read, like sweet potatoes, they became a staple in my diet.
Hmm.
And I would just buy a big old sack of them. And I looked it up, how many calories are in a sweet potato for how many grams, and it
Right.
boom, it pops up. So I would grab a little cup, put it on my scale, and weigh it. And I started weighing it, and this is before I found out how many calories I was burning. All I knew was the average person should eat 2,500 calories, right? That's the average person.
Hmm.
So I started eating 2,500 calories, and my meal prep containers went from weighing just a little bit to a whole lot. And I was started seeing results on the scale. I
Nice.
started seeing small results. I got
Nice.
down to about 225 pounds, lost 20 pounds pretty quick. It was, I would say, about 3 months. If you want an apple, grab it, buddy. Is that what you're going to ask me? Yeah, go ahead, grab you an apple.
Okay, that brings us to our next point, ladies and gentlemen. We're passing this down to our kids.
Yeah, Zyler, when you grab that apple, come put it in front of the camera. But so about 3 months go by, and I lost about 20 pounds, and then I plateaued.
Mhm.
I just couldn't. I I learned a little bit about macros. Like I said, I wasn't prioritizing protein. I just knew that there was a lot of protein in the stuff that I was eating, so I was like, "Oh, you're good." Um, I plateaued. 20 pounds down, I plateaued, eating 2,500 calories. Plateaued. Didn't understand why. I thought I figured out the golden. I thought I had the golden ticket, and then I was like, I need to stop just taking these YouTube articles or these Google articles and these YouTube videos, and I need to talk to somebody because I'm a year in. I'm like a year in of being consistent.
Mhm.
Like, I've accepted this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to stop. So I need to talk to somebody who knows what's wrong. Why am I plateaued now after all this? Why is it so tough for me? But my brother, who's 175 pounds, could eat like a freaking bull. Like, none of this is making sense to me. So who else better than Tomas Ramirez? And the reason why I say that, I know you're being modest, but let me
Let's
explain
hear,
why
bro.
it's different for me. Let me explain why.
Okay.
And it's because you are from the same city that I'm from,
uh,
okay? And through that city that we grew up in, I'm pretty sure I know you know this. Like, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows there.
mhm,
We were surrounded by very, very bad things.
mhm,
A lot of gangs, and to be honest, it's something that I hung out with the wrong crowd for a long time. Like, I
mhm.
started smoking cigarettes when I was 12 years old. I, I was smoking weed at 12 years old. Um,
I
my
was
my
14.
parents, huh?
I was 14.
14.
13 when I started drinking.
So can I ask you, how come so early for you?
Influence. So I started drinking because of one of my uncles, who was still one of my best friends. He's only 12 years older than me. So when I was 13, he was 25. And he moved into my dad's house because my dad moved out to Lansing. So he moved into my house for my dad. And he used to have house parties. So I used to go stay the night with him. And that's how I started drinking. I'd go play Little League Baseball. go stay the night with my uncle because he was cool. We played video games, hung out like good friends. And then at nighttime, you'd have a house party, and I'd be 13 years old drinking. So, and I mean, he had roommates who were, I consider them my uncles too. He had three roommates. So, I mean, those guys were just an influence in my life. So, influence, if I could answer you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Influence and environment.
Yeah, environment
And
influence.
growing up in our city, in a place like our city, that's normal. That's normal. Starting to drink and smoke cigarettes at 12 and 13 years old.
Right,
That's normal. But you take it out into a different, more connected community with less gang activity, less drug traffic. That is not normal.
right.
That is like very frowned upon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very, very frowned upon. So why you stuck out to me so much is because even when we were kids, you were known through the city. You were known through the city as, one of the bigger guys, like
I
bigger
don't
guy.
know how. Because I look at the old pictures, I'm like, dang, I was a skinny little guy. I thought I was the man, but
Well, for a lot of people, who didn't work out and things like that, you were the man. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And I just remember that. I just remember that, being young, being the kid, and through word of mouth through the city, Tomas is, he's somebody that he's one of the buff dudes from around here. You know what I mean? And
mhm,
but I lost contact with you, and even back then, like we just knew each other through the city.
right.
We weren't involved in each other's inner circles, and a lot of it is because like influence, like you were off doing your thing with your uncle, and I was off with these little hoodlums over here. You know what I mean? Doing the same exact thing, drinking and smoking, and just not giving a care in the world.
Hey, bro, that's back when he was rapping, though.
Yeah, for sure. I
That's funny because we both dabbled in that. I used to rap too when I was a
no
teenager.
way, I didn't know that.
Here, bro, I don't know if I should still have my CD.
Oh
I put out a
man, you
whole
better let
CD
me get
before,
that.
bro. I'm dead serious.
Oh,
Terrible. I
I
listen
need to
to it now, like, dang, I need to work on my flow. My lyrics weren't bad. It's just my flow, my approach. But
Oh man, you're gonna have to send me some stuff, bro. I want to hear
I got you.
that. That's
I even got
dope,
a
man.
SoundCloud now. I think about it. I mean, it doesn't have none of my old stuff like that, but it has like my like mid 20 stuff when I stopped.
So you really was like in it for a little while,
Bro, I used to love it.
bro.
I used to make a new song like every weekend. My boy would come over, we'd smoke, and then we'd make a new song.
How do I not know this?
Yeah, dead serious, bro. Dead
Yeah,
serious.
you gotta, bro. Send me the link to the SoundCloud. I
All
need to
right, let's
hear
not get off the topic here though.
it. All right.
We're talking about health and fitness, but
So, all right, I needed to talk to somebody. I knew Tomas Ramirez through the city. He was known as, um, somebody that was a buffer dude. I looked you up on Facebook, and wouldn't you know it, this guy figured it out. He became not only all that influence that he had around him was the wrong things. He became something, and I'm talking in third person now, just because I know you're a very modest guy. But this is how I feel about you, bro.
okay.
He made something. He's from the city that I'm from. Same influences, same, like just a few blocks over.
Mhm.
Literally, you lived a few blocks away from me, and he made it out. He made it out. He figured it out. He figured out how to do what he loves. He figured out that fitness is something super important to him, and he started something I seen on Facebook called Positive Gains.
Yeah.
And I started, looking into it and seeing that, you got all these clients, and not only did you make it to be a trainer, but now you have your own facility.
Mhm.
Like that's crazy, bro. Like that's not normal from where we're from.
Right.
That's like up there. You know what I'm saying? So you're like to me a local hero, especially for somebody that wants this so bad that I'm trying to kind of follow in the same footsteps, just in a different way. I'm trying to make my own way. But like I was like, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. this is the guy I need to talk to. This is who I need to, looking through all your stuff and seeing all these results. You have all these people with the before and after pictures. I see your physique from before and after. Even now, you just got done with a cut.
Yep.
I'm still a huge fan of you, even though now we consider ourselves friends. Close friend. I would consider you a close friend because I talk to you at least twice a day. So even though we're close friends, I'm still a fan of you because of your mindset and all that. So I know by following you that you just got off of a 10-week cut and you look freaking fantastic, bro. So it just backs up the results that I found when I came looking for you.
Mhm.
And it did not disappoint. And I hit you up. Hey, man, long time no talk, bro. I see you got this going. And man, it's super dope. And I don't know if you remember me, but yeah, of course I remember you, bro. And,
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, this is what I'm trying to do. How do I do it? Why am I hitting this plateau? Why am I going through this? And why am I going through that? I heard something about I'm supposed to be eating 220 grams of protein. Is this right? You had answers for everything. And
Mhm.
they worked, bro. They worked for me. So on Google and YouTube, I'm finding answers too, but they're not working for me.
Right.
They're not working for me. So you helped me make it past my plateau and kept me accountable, kept me connected. And um and what I mean by keeping me accountable is checking up on me.
Yeah.
You know, hey bro, how's this going? How did you do on this? How come you didn't work out today? I heard that you didn't work out today. What happened, bro? Like, like keeping me accountable.
Right.
And I didn't realize that was something that I was lacking in too. So not only were you helping me with fitness and nutrition, you were helping me with more lifestyle
Yeah.
things, accountability. That's why I became like an introvert. Is because it was too much accountability for me to handle in my bad habits. I don't want my grandmother asking me, "How come, why are you drinking, Thomas, or why you got this going on? Why are you always so hard on money? When it's going on?" I didn't want that accountability. I was
Right.
scared of it because I didn't have an answer. I
Right.
just felt like I was a
Mm.
slacker.
That's
So
good,
you
man.
helped me develop an accountability thing, and through that, I started learning about social responsibility, and that's why I hold you I got you on a pedestal because it's not just all fitness and nutrition. It's literally lifestyle. It's accountability. It's consistency. It's your mindset. It's how it's through fatherhood. That's another something that we share a lot of. Something in common. All that stuff plays a huge part in your fitness, just like your fitness plays a huge part in your life.
Right.
And
For
I
sure.
found Tomas Ramirez again, got back connected with him. He pushed me past my plateau, gave me tips on everything I needed to ask him, and then I jumped into a routine with him. I uh, I wanted to get into positive gains. I wanted to be a part of that, and I'm always hitting him up for merch, which I still want some merch because it's just so sick to me. and
We'll work on that.
and so I went from 220, from being stuck at 220 for like 2 months, down to 210, down to
Nice.
205,
Mm.
down to 198, down to 194, down to 190, down to 180, down to 184, and then I became skinny fat. And it's because I waited too long to prioritize protein. If I
Yeah.
would have been doing that from the beginning,
Yeah.
I would have looked a lot better a lot sooner in,
Mm,
in my eyes.
so let me cut you off right there. I don't feel like you became skinny fat because when I look back at my first time ever cutting ever in my life, I'm like, dang, I was skinny. Like I was like, I mean, I was lean, but like I wasn't like the type of lean that like you want to for like a superhero or put on the front seat of a magazine. Like I would just felt skinny. You know what I mean? So it was like I feel like that first cut is always the hardest one for one, but it's not way that's usually not ideally like the physique you're really, really going for. I mean, you'll be happy. I mean, I was happy with the way I looked, But then once you go back into that bulk and then you go back to it again, it's like, okay, now I'm starting to get that size. Now I'm starting to look reasonable with size. It's like, that's what I'm talking about. So I don't want you to get discouraged and like, man, I just got skinny fat. It was just like, you know what I mean? It's just that first cut is always the hardest, and it's always just the preparation for what's coming next. Because I mean, I want everybody to know I didn't tell Tommy to put me out there like that, like tell him to brag about training.
Yeah,
But
this is not.
yeah, we had been training together, and now we're in the bulking phase. And I see people on your Facebook all the time, bro. Like when you was flexing with your legs, I saw I got dudes on there like, bro, your legs are looking so good. It's like, yeah, we've been training them boys twice a week.
We've
It's
been
like
going
we've
hard.
been bulking up, and I know it's a hard part for you because you coming from 275 pounds to bulk up to you is like I don't want
Scary
to get
shit.
fat again type of deal. You know what I mean? But it's like we're doing it the right way. And not only are you noticing, not only am I noticing, but even people on your social media are noticing. So, bro, it's like that's what we want. That's awesome. And we
Yes.
don't even switch up our exercises. We just
Yeah.
we just increase the volume, or we just, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Just constant progressive overload, which is crazy. So
Super crazy.
yeah, bro. I
And
think there's just too much nonsense out there, and people are just trying to sell what sounds sexy to people. And it's like, bro,
yep.
that's not science. It's like you don't have to change it up this week and change it up next week and change it up that week. Like, bro, I've been doing
Yes.
the same exercises for 10 weeks. I changed up my volume and my weight and stuff like that, and that's it.
Yep. Bro, you
So
actually another plateau you just helped me make it past was my lifting plateau, which was new to me. That was my first time I've ever plateaued on lifting because,
yeah.
like you said, I was scared to bulk, so I didn't take it. And it was something so simple. It was so simple, and I got back into that overthinking mindset of I'm not eating right. I'm just not built for this. I don't know what's going on. And you were like, "How's your sleeping, bro? How's your sleeping?" And I was like, "You got me there." And, um,
Seriously.
I switched shifts, and not on. I didn't request it. It was the facility lead that just switched me up for that. But it helped me out so much. So now I don't have to be up super duper early in the morning,
Right.
and then going to train, which I didn't explain that yet. But I am now a fitness coach, and that is like a super duper active job, and it takes so much out of you.
Right.
So I would go to work at 4 in the morning and I would have 20,000 steps before 9 a.m. and I haven't ate yet. And then I
That's
would
no
go
exaggeration, people.
no
It's
exaggeration,
no exaggeration.
20,000
You're
steps
constantly
before
going back
9
and
a.m.
forth.
20,000 steps before 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And I didn't eat yet. And I went straight to training. And I was not doing it. In fact, my strength was going down. And I was getting really discouraged. And Tomas was like, "How's your sleeping?" And I explained it to him. He said, try to figure out a way to get a little bit more sleep and see if that works. And I didn't even really have to figure it out. Work figured it out for me. They put me on evenings. So I uh, I started waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning instead of 3, and taking it a little bit slower, meeting myself where I'm at.
Right.
I'm not just because I'm not a morning person doesn't mean I don't take care of business. I
Right.
do, but it's not optimal for me personally.
Yeah.
Not that early.
Right.
Not for me to go train that after doing that early. So now I wake up at 8 in the morning. I get to take my children to school, which is super cool. Like I get to spend that little extra time with them in the morning. And then I eat now before I go train. I get to eat now. I keep it light. I don't really eat heavy before I train. I
Right.
just do some eggs and oatmeal. And not a lot of oatmeal because it make you too full. But anyway, I come home from dropping them off to school. I eat and then I go train. And since I did that, it was the sleeping. Phew, I'm up there now.
Yeah.
My
Let's go.
deadlifts are
Let's go.
now my max is 355.
Let's go, bro.
355 for one rep. And here's 3 years into this, 2020. This Christmas will be the third year that I've
Right.
taken this series. And I want you guys to I really want to stress this. If you take anything away from this podcast, at least from what I say in this podcast, take this. This is what consistency has done for me, even through my failures and never stopping. Remember what consistency is, not a straight line. Consistency is falling and getting back up and getting to
Mm,
that mailbox. 3 years of consistency this Christmas. When I first went in for my first deadlift, I could not lift the bar
mm.
with proper form. 3 years later, I can put up 355 for one rep. My working set is 215.
Let's go.
That's what consistency gets you.
Yeah, bro. Let's
That's what it gets
go.
you.
Man, that's like a perfect closing right there, bro. It's like a perfect closing. Like, how do you even top that? Like, that's perfect. So just stop smoking, turn into a whole new career path, bro. And if you would have quit along the way because you didn't see the results you was wanting within that first year, who knows where you'd be? You'd be driving another truck right now.
Smoking a
And you
cigarette in that
smoking
truck.
a cigarette and still unhappy and unhealthy and so forth. So that one small change, bro, I feel like the biggest thing for me that I'm taking away from this that I love about you is just the mindset. Like you made that one mindset to stick with this one thing no matter what. And that one thing snowballed into a whole nother thing and it completely changed your life, bro. You're in a whole different direction now. So that's what I'm taking away from this, and I've enjoyed it. So I definitely appreciate you, bro. Is there anything that you would like to end with to like, I guess like a pro tip or like anything? I know you already stressed consistency, but is there anything else you'd like to throw into that?
Hmm. I would like to double back on consistency.
Hey, he's consistent with consistency.
I'm telling you, that's the life changer. That's the
It
one.
is. I think your analogy is awesome. Like, I'm definitely going to keep that in my mind. Like, consistency is not a straight path. It's the get up and fall off. I mean, there's a proverb in the Bible about that. It says the righteous man falls off 7 times, but he
Mm,
gets back up. So it's like it's projected for you to fail. Where it's like you said, it's like what you do with your failure. I think even important thing to do is when you create your plan, like, okay, this is my plan. Now, what am I going to do if I fail this? So that way you know what to do for next time or recognize, okay, this is what I did. How can I be better with it next time? You know what I mean? Like, we're always trying to plan for success, but I don't think we plan enough for failure at times either because we're human.
that's heavy
So, definitely appreciate that, bro.
for sure.
Definitely appreciate you being on here. Don't want to take up any more of your time. Definitely great chatting with you. I can't wait for people to watch this. Share with your Fit Body Bootcat family over there. Maybe I'll have to come check them out. How far of a drive is Dayton from Detroit?
2 hours and 50 minutes.
God bless. I'm gonna need some
Listen,
extra pre-workout for that one.
hey, listen. I'm saying I'm saying this publicly for accountability. All right. If you were to able to get down here
uh,
and like say if you wanted to make a whole like thing out of it and like bring your fam,
uh,
I I would try to figure out a way to help you at a hotel to stay for the night. But you gotta go to class with me. Oh damn it, I called it class. We're not supposed to call it class. We call it sessions. And anytime you say the C word, you owe a burpee. So I gotta give one out real quick.
oh, you're lucky we can't see because I want that chest to the floor when you do your burpee.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
definitely
We're gonna get
appreciate
you
it.
down here, brother. For sure.
I'll definitely run it by the wife and see if we can make that happen, bro.
For sure.
All right, Tom. Definitely been a pleasure talking with you. Thank you for doing this podcast. Just want to end it by saying, hey, we have donation-based fitness classes every Saturday at 9 o'clock, which is why I'm wearing my Detroit Lions because today was NFL themed. So if you guys are looking to join any of our classes at donation-based, meaning you can pay however much you want, go onto our website at positivegainstore.com. And I definitely appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Tommy, and the Fit Body Bootcamp family over there, bro. Thank you for being an awesome client and friend. So I'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Peace.